808 cut Stanley.
I am feeling better today.
DJ Flair, make the money flare.
It's time to tell a story. It's an unnecessary story, but I have to tell the story, so let the story be told. And I'm about to tell a story of someone missing out on their glory. And I hate to tell this story because this story is old. This story is about Stanley. They call him Stanley Earl. Let me take you on a journey, get inside of Stanley's world. Stanley Earl may be familiar, the person, not the name. There are many people just like Stanley. Too many people are the same. Stanley gets up every morning, goes to work to get a check, puts food inside of his body, has a roof above his head. But Stanley's going through the motions. His life is standing still. Big gap from what he could do compared to what he will. This is poor Stanley Earl. Stanley's living in a box. He is missing from this world. Poor Stanley. This is poor Stanley Earl. And poor Stanley is the description because of Stanley's untapped worth. You see, Stanley has potential, and he's had it since his birth. But Stanley doesn't see it, even though he thinks he does. His actions tell the true story. They show what he really loves. And that's the love of being careful. Can't afford to take a risk. Complain about the world around him. Neglect the world that's his. And his world is something special. The power is not a myth. He has the power to command it, to choose the way that he lives. This is poor Stanley Earl. Stanley's living in a box. He is missing from this world. Poor Stanley. This is poor Stanley Earl. What Stanley's choosing is too simple, even though simple does not feel. I'm not saying that it's easy. I know the struggle, it is real. But Stanley is not seeing Stanley. This has to be the case. Because if Stanley could see Stanley, Stanley would be in a better place. A better place because he's better. He is better than this life. In his life, he'll get better. When Stanley gets his vision right, he will see that he can do it. He cannot be denied. He'll find his power and his passion. He'll find it all inside. This is poor Stanley. Poor Stanley Earl. Poor Stanley. This is poor Stanley Earl. And Stanley Earl, he isn't poor because inside Stanley is so rich. This is his time to choose it. Choose the riches that exist. Stanley's fight is not external, at least not until he sees himself. He can never win the inside unless he starts to know his wealth. And he has to stop accepting the excuses. The distractions can't distract. The challenges approach him. The obstacles he must attack. If Stanley doesn't create it, what he gets will not be great. Mediocrity is not appealing. What he wants, he has to make. This is poor Stanley Earl. Stanley's living in a box. He is missing from this world. Poor Stanley. This is poor Stanley Earl. And Stanley's stuck behind the TV, watching someone else's scene. His time could be repurposed, with Stanley working on his dream. He's angry at what's happening. What they're doing is well known. He's angry at their choices, while his choices he won't own. He's poor Stanley for a reason, and it's not because of them. Poor Stanley's a grown-ass man. He is poor because of him. Because Stanley can make changes. He can be the change he wants to see. The first change is declaration. Stanley's saying that I see me. Stanley Earl, it's your decision. Stanley Earl, you have to say. Poor Stanley, you must command it. I am feeling better today. This is the story of poor Stanley Earl. It's time to change the story and enjoy the riches of this world. This is poor Stanley Earl. Poor Stanley. This is poor Stanley Earl.